Let's speak about Workhorse, baby! What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor. I got the clothing line to prove that fact. On the screen right now, right next to me, you will see the face of Steve Schrader. So this is actually Steve's third time coming onto the channel. He is the CFO of Workhorse, if you're not aware. And so I got him on to answer some questions that I and a lot of other investors have after the Q3 report came out. A lot of exciting things in today's video. We have some updates on Pritchard. We have some updates on delivery targets for next year, how we're going to hit them, what we can expect to happen in Q4 of this year, where our large cash reserve is going to be going over the next year or so, a little bit of an update on battery suppliers and how they're all going to work together, our new vehicle sales from two new companies and what that could lead to down the line, a little bit more about the drones, and so much more, my friends. So please hit that juicy like button for Steve taking the time out of his day to come on the channel and answer our questions. If you're new around here and want more Workhorse related content, please hit that subscribe button and drop a comment down below. Show some love for Steve, my friends. Now, straight into the video.
I think I saw that you said the Steve Burns interview was the most exciting interview you've ever done, correct?
I'm not sure if I said that or what happened, Steve. I'm not sure.
I believe you did. I think you said it right after you said the same thing about our first interview. Which one is it?
Well, hopefully this one. Hopefully this one.
There you go.
Hopefully they keep getting better and better. You know what I mean?
That's a good answer.
Yeah, that's I'm learning from you, Steve. I'm learning from you. I have to make things so good, you know. But so obviously a familiar face on the channel at this stage. We have Steve Schrader, Workhorse Cfo, always bringing us the juicy information. And so, Steve, when we were just briefly chatting before the cameras went on, you told me we may have a statement from somebody from Pritchard. If you would like to share what that is all about.
Yeah, so I think everybody saw that we had a 500 unit order from Pritchard. And I think Ryan Pritchard actually in particular has also seen some of Jack's videos. And I think he had made a comment. I think, Jack, you had made a comment about 500. You know, they do 30,000 that they sell a year. It looks like they could do more than that. So Ryan actually gave me a comment on that. And I asked him for a little bit more details. I think everybody probably saw on the press release they're based in Iowa, private company, been around 4 or 5 generations. They sell 30,000 vehicles a year, medium duty. And so maybe not as well known, probably based in Iowa, but here's what Ryan said about Jack's comment, I think. He said, Jack is already, I'm going to read it if that's okay.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Jack is already onto our strategy, which makes it even easier to share. First, he's spot on about our dealer group. 500 is a small number for our network, let alone the new prospects we've been inquiring. We're not wasting any time with 5 on-ground units, putting them on a roadshow starting in December to feature trucks in Los Angeles, New York, and Minneapolis. The remaining units have already been claimed by 2 blue-chip customers for an extended testing cycle. We're building a backlog of orders, and we haven't begun our digital rollout yet. He says we've seen a lot of different EV commercial applications, which is why we tested the first 5 units, and we placed an order for another 500. We love the product, and the response has been overwhelming. Many more big things to come. So I think you're right.
So I might be able to read into a thing or two somewhat quickly. That's amazing to hear. That's very exciting, and obviously more exciting than me knowing Ryan Pritchard is watching the videos. It's exciting for you guys and for all of us investors.
It's exciting for us too, and just to let you know too is obviously Hitachi is doing the inventory financing for Pritchard. But just to let you know, Workhorse is talking to Pritchard first. So in the scheme of kind of what Hitachi can still bring us from orders, and I think their survey indicated, at least the ones they talked to, an interest in 300 to 500 orders. We're still looking to kind of get the first Hitachi order. This doesn't count. This
is you guys still.
Yeah.
That's very exciting, because I was actually going to ask a little bit more about that. Like, what role did Hitachi play in the grand scheme of this? I think you just answered that. It was mainly you guys.
They certainly help with inventory financing for Pritchard, so they are certainly a partner on this order itself. But from actually bringing us new orders too, we anticipate more from Hitachi as well.
Exciting. Very, very exciting. Now that's very interesting. I think the whole Pritchard deal right now is very exciting to everybody. I think us seeing the 500 number it's filled a lot of people, especially when you look into what Pritchard do and what that could lead to down the line. As we said, they actually do those 30,000 a year. This looks very exciting. So yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm going to have to email Ryan now and say thanks for watching the videos. But while we're speaking about Hitachi briefly, Have there been many implications of working with Hitachi aside from this whole Pritchard thing? Has anything been implemented in the factory, efficiency-wise, things of the likes?
Not necessarily directly from Hitachi, because Hitachi was looking at more and we also just let you know we have Belcan, which is a well-known engineering and production firm in as well. Belcan, I would say, and is really kind of in here helping us get to the 5 a day, 10 a day, 100 a month, 200 a month. What Hitachi was really looking at is, look, we anticipate you can get there. What we're trying to do is look at the next several years and say, at the end of the day, you don't want to just stop at 10 a day, right?
Yeah.
You wanted to be able to do 40 or 50 a day. And they have given us their recommendations on how to go about best doing that going forward.
Okay. So that's cool. So Belkin is kind of going to be, shorter term, maybe helping us meet next year's production target of the 1,800 vehicles. And then Hitachi will kind of come into the line a little bit more down the line, playing a bigger role.
Yeah, I think their recommendations will come in bigger down the line. And they certainly have similar recommendations of just starting a manufacturing organization and getting production going from zero to anything. So that they're very similar to Belcan. They all have done it before, and they know how to do it and the best way to organize it.
Exciting, very exciting. And then in regards to those 1,800 vehicles, the target for next year, I know you were saying that, hopefully we want to be at 100 a month within the first quarter and then 200 a month in the second quarter. Is that based off, the existing backlog of orders we have? Is that, what we would deem to be best case scenario, or could that potentially go up if there are to be more orders such as the one that happened with Pritchard?
Well, let me say first, the goal was to get to like 100 per month in the Q4 in this year.
Okay, yeah.
And I think, we articulated both the battery constraint issue and the COVID issues we've had, and we're not going to do that. But we kind of view that more as just a slight delay and a hiccup, and move that more to the first quarter. So yeah, and by the end of the first quarter, we'd like to have 100 per month, a month of 100 per month at least. And the same thing by the end of the second quarter, 200 per month. I think it depends on how successful we are doing that. You don't get credit until you actually do something. So you have to actually execute it. So right now, the 1,800s are our goal for the year, and let's shoot for that. And if we get more orders that's beyond the 1,700, because if we did 1,800, that would satisfy the backlog, correct?
Yeah.
But if we get more beyond that, then certainly we'll look at ways to speed it up, or they can at least get on the list for 2022.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, because I think that's a question a lot of people have been having. Is that the maximum we can do, or is there going to be more potential? I think that answers that question exactly. That's perfect. Okay, so have to speak to you about cash, because obviously we've been bringing in a bit of cash as of late. So as of now, about 260 million of cash on the balance sheet. I remember last time I got this extraordinarily wrong by a decimal place. So where can we expect that cash to be going over the next, let's say, year or so?
Yeah, so we have 260 million. I think several things. One, obviously, it'll help with the ramp up of the production next year and meeting that 1,800 goal. Two, it will help develop new products, the refrigeration unit. And we also talked about maybe a Class 2 vehicle that would be kind of maybe a direct, right now our C450 and C650 can compete with like the Mercedes Sprinters, the Ford Transits. But we actually could build a Class 2 vehicle very similar to those two as well. That would compete with maybe the E-Transit that they just talked about, Ford.
Yeah.
And, I think thirdly, the drone operations. I think you're trying to get FAA clearance for that. That'll take about 18 plus months. So that'll take time to spend money and do all that testing as well. So I think it can be used in all those areas. Okay.
Awesome. So a lot of, not necessarily research and development, but more so development at this stage. And on that topic, in regards to refrigeration, because I've been getting asked so much about this as of late. Is there any sort of, timeline that you can give, even a very rough timeline of when we could potentially see a prototype or even a major update on the refrigeration?
Well, I think we're starting on the R&D aspect of it now. Our hope is that maybe we could do a pilot with somebody maybe by April.
Oh, very exciting.
And that'll be the start. We've certainly had different customers ask about pilots and can they get a look at it. So I think that would at least be the target as we sit here today.
Okay. Cool. So I'll go on the plan. Hopefully by April or so of next year, we could see something. We could have cold goods in the back of a Workhorse truck.
That'd be the ideal.
That's the ideal. Okay, awesome. And the next thing, somewhat piqued my interest. We recorded additional vehicle sales from Fluid Systems and Etrucks, but I didn't see too much said about this. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about both of these relationships.
Yeah, Etrucks is actually a local company, I would say, that wants to be similar to what Ryder does from a standpoint of also servicing the vehicles,
Okay.
but more on a local regional basis here in the Ohio region. And then Fluid is actually a big dealer out there. That's probably, again, I think there's so many dealers out there. Hitachi had a list of 50 that they wanted to approach,
Yeah.
and certainly like a Fluid's on there. And I don't think people even know about some of these like Pritchard of how big they are and how many trucks
Yeah.
that they lease. And the Fluid, though, I think is going to start with about 5, and they've got a customer that already wants them. And I think hopefully if we can kind of deliver those 5, you'll hear more about that later this year.
Okay, exciting. So again, it's similar to this could be a similar thing to what Pritchard did with their 5 vehicles and then shooting it up to the 500.
Yeah, there's several that want, they want to test them. They want to kind of test them for, a time period, and they want like a small 5, 10, 20 in some cases of just kind of give us these and let us drive them around a little bit. And then the potential for bigger orders there.
That's cool. That's awesome. Okay, that's fantastic. And I'm just going to bring it back for a second. We spoke about the drones, so obviously we are now in the approval process. Is there any updates on the drones? How have things been going since we last spoke? I know it wasn't too long, but has much happened? Many developments?
Well, we officially applied to the FAA for the application to get started. We were actually doing work prior to that. The FAA requires a lot of manuals, that you have to put together. So that work is probably 80% done of the actual manuals and stuff. But the big thing is it requires for the type certification and production certification. One of the big things is 400 hours of flying. Yeah. And 400 hours is a lot of time flying. So that'll, I'm sure, will be a lot of next year. What we'll be doing is doing the actual test.
Okay, that's exciting. Yeah. So it's still kind of the same time frame we were looking for always.
It's still 18 months. I think the good thing at the end of the 18 months, and if you can get the certifications, then you are approved to actually use it for commercial applications on a long-term basis.
Okay.
The FAA will give certain exceptions to a lot of different groups right now, but if you actually want to make money on a long-term basis, and like we've said, we think the potential is just as good on the drone side as it is on the truck side. That but you have to put in the 18 months, and you have to get those certifications and make sure it's safe.
Okay, yep, that's perfect. And I suppose a lot of people are going to get upset if I don't answer this question. It's in regards to, we can't hit the 300. We're not going to hit the 300 to 400 by the end of the year due to, COVID, etc., etc. A lot of people are asking if there is an update or if there is something we can expect, or if we're just going to have to wait and see how the next few months go, especially with what's happened with you guys in COVID.
Oh, I think you have to just wait. I think from our standpoint, there will be some delivery of trucks, but it'll be substantially lower than the 300 to 400.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of had not a perfect storm to some extent, but we weren't intending in the first place on October 1 to start doing 5 a day. That was really getting sub-assemblies ready to go and get the trucks that you start 1 a day, then 2 a day, and hopefully we'd ramp up to 8 a day or so towards the end and have the average of 5 a day.
Okay.
But, we were just kind of getting the sub-assembly started, and then we had our battery manufacturer that basically said, we can't hit that 300 to 400.
Yeah, okay.
Right away, that would have lowered guidance, let alone right after that, every day we started getting more and more cases of COVID. Either they were positive or people had to stay home. And they were almost all production-related workers. And probably when we brought on 30 to 40 production workers to kind of be the first shift, I'm sure that might have hurt, it's to cause the whole situation in the first place. But I will say, I haven't heard this week any new cases being added to it. For a 2-week time period, it was like every single day we had a new case.
Yeah. Okay.
But I haven't heard this week that we haven't had any new ones. So maybe that's a start of kind of it's tapering off, and the people that were out, 36% of our workforce will start coming back, and we can kind of get going again. But the expectation shouldn't be high for the fourth quarter. We're trying to put our energy in the first quarter of 2021 and really kind of get started this time. And unfortunately, it's a delay for us, and we're disappointed just as well. But we're focused on the 1800 for next year.
Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense, and I think everybody's going to be very happy to hear that people seem to be getting healthier and the cases are most certainly going down. That's at the end of the day the most important thing. There's more time. You guys have time to make all of these vehicles, and then just one more kind of key point I want to speak about is the battery supplier. So I know on the call you spoke about the fact you're now working with multiple. How is that going to work? Is that going to cause any complications at all, or is it all just going to kind of swivel in together?
I think it's swiveling together. I think from a standpoint of the battery manufacturer, we had actually talked to several battery manufacturers, even in the last couple of months or so. The issue with it is you can't just flip a switch and put in a new battery.
Yeah.
It's the heart of the powertrain. So you have to make sure it works with your powertrain. And so it takes 2 to 3 months of testing. So when you're talking to 2 or 3 vendors, that's not the current vendor you have, and trying to see if you can use their batteries, that's 2 to 3 months of testing for each of them. And so we do anticipate in the first quarter of 2021 that at least one, our current manufacturer, we think, can supply an amount that will still help towards the 1800. And then 2, we think they may be able to supplement that themselves a little bit better. And then I think we can bring on at least a couple other maybe manufacturers that will help supplement the volume that we need to do in 2021.
It's nice to have options, Steve. That's something I learned from you.
Have options, like you said.
Nice to have options. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's the main things I had. The main things that interested me from Q3 in particular. But I would like to ask one question. I don't think I've asked this yet, but what do you think? You may have even answered this already. What do you think the biggest challenges that the company is going to face over the next, let's say, even year, next 12 months?
I think from ours, it's the volume. It's making the manufacturing and delivering trucks, right?
Yeah.
We've done that, and we've got all the certifications that we need, the testing, and we can sell in any state. We've got orders, we've got a backlog, and we got people excited about making more orders and getting out there on the production list. But we have to execute, right?
Okay.
And again, I'll say it, and we shouldn't get any credit until we actually execute, and that's what our intention is, really, to focus on 2021 of actually getting the systems all set up to produce the vehicles. And again, milestones, first 100 a month, then 200 a month. And then, if we can meet those milestones, then I think we're fine with kind of meeting our backlog and satisfying new orders.
That's absolutely perfect. It's just executing. You know what I mean? That's all there is to it right now. We have all of the pieces. We maybe even have a few extra pieces, and it's just getting them all in the right place now. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And we have good firms in here helping us. Belcan and Hitachi. They have done this before. They know what systems you need to have in place to really make your production work. And so we're excited about their expertise and helping us out.
Yeah, that's it. And they've already done well, and I'm sure there's a whole lot more to come from them.
Yeah, I agree.
Perfect. Well, Steve, again, thanks very much for coming onto the channel. We'll have to do it again sometime, maybe Q4. We'll see.
I appreciate you having me on, and I see some of your subscribers give you a hard time about that liquor stash behind you.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a problem at all. I think it's part of the Jack Spencer mystique.
I appreciate that, Steve. I appreciate it. I'm going to have to use that clip so many times in the future.
There you go.
Let me just say, this was the most exciting interview I've ever done, Steve. It was the most exciting one ever, Steve. I appreciate you so much taking the time out of your day to answer the questions for us investors, Steve. So thanks so much for coming on.
Appreciate it, Jack. Take care, okay?
Have a good day. You too.
Okay. Bye.